it is Monday. It is kind of back to the routine I had before the Christmas break. I've been working on new stands that are just a bit more sturdier and ones that I can sort of keep the rods in, keep all the stuff hooked on, and hopefully just put them on top of a roof rack. So now that I can actually see what colours I've got and what colours, I can see which ones to restock as well, which is nice. So I've been working on making more cat colours. The studio space refresh is going pretty well. I have taken a little bit of a breather break, but I've got all my fabric on one side, people stuff on one side. There's still some like stuff that needs a home, but I'll take those to markets anyway. I've got bigger tubs for my pet stuff, which is nice. This space I've sort of reorganized a bit and it's a bit more functional now, which is quite useful, and I moved that big sort of dresser unit which fits quite snugly underneath the Avar thing. And kind of neat, I hooked this neon light that Chrissy gave me from work to a little sensor. So I think that was like $14 from Amazon, but pretty cool. I can keep it plugged in and it's got a pretty good range of picking up when someone's walking past, so that's nice. Over here, this space is looking a hell of a lot better. So I've got my market tubs. I take those 3 to markets, and they were sitting in the garage each time after I'd unpack, but then can't really sort of look at my stuff like my stock. So now I can actually see or pull out stuff during the weeks, not in the garage. This is sort of like a work in progress, like a tub of stuff I'm working on that I can just pop there. I got a smaller photo box. I think the bigger one is still good because the bigger one has the front side, so I do notice it is a little dimmer in here despite being still pretty similar brightness. Not having that front piece really does change how good the photos turn out, but for something so compact it is a lot easier to work with, and because it's right next to my sewing machine I can quickly take a photo. I also did clear up my space, but I was clipping these collars, so I've got a few to sew now. Stocked up my sort of bits and bobs drawer. This thing is pretty good. I think there's 60 cabinets, 60 drawers. I think it's like $30 or $40 from Kmart, so it's not too bad. Got a calendar going up there. This side is still a work in progress. I've got my overlocker, my original sewing machine that I was trying to change a bulb on. Couldn't get it to quite click in. A faff machine that's good for narrow stuff, and then a cover stitch machine that I'm sort of still learning how to use properly. So overall, space is feeling quite nice, quite productive. I can have more flow, more floor space, just things are easy to put away now, which is good. So this weekend I've got my first markets for the year. I've got Heidi Market on the 11th, that's Saturday, and then I'll be going back to St Kilda for the first time since the big wind day that we had. That one I don't know what to expect, being sort of summer holidays. I don't know if that's a lot of people or not many people. It's near the beach. I think they're like both about 30-degree days, so not overly hot. It has been like 37, 38 degrees lately. That would be probably where I'd want to draw the line, and like if I've got a market booked I'd want to pull out, but 32 degrees I can deal with that. And St Kilda, that's on the beach. That might mean there's lots of people just walking past, going to the beach. Lots to do. I did get a custom order request for one of my pouches. I've made these pouches color accuracies. This is the small size. Got a request for the larger one, so I'll be making that in the pink fairy bread print for one of my customers at Heidi Market. That'll be cool. Yep, got the waterproof lining, They're cute bags. I think I do want to make a few more so when I do display them they look a bit more substantial. Right now when I do display them there's like 3 to 5, so it looks a bit random. So I think once I make each colour in the small and large and maybe like 2 of each colour and size, it will look a bit more substantial and maybe people will look at it a bit more. Who knows? Hopefully I can sew some more leads, a handful of leads for the markets this weekend. So I did take a pause on that because I had to order more like webbing. That's also the poop bag I've been sort of testing out. Now that they're looking pretty good, solid as heck, pretty solid, or really solid. The clips have a bit of weight to it. I don't know how that will go for smaller dogs. That's the only thing. But if it's a real issue, I'll try to find some lighter weight ones. So today's Monday, it's 1:30. I've set a timer. That's how much time I wanted to just make as much cut collars as I could. I did have lunch in that time, so I'll just, whoops. Maybe just add that time back. Spend that much time making as many cut collars as I can. Might go to the timber shop to get 2 bits of timber to finish off my other stands that I was making. Exciting news, I did take a risk and checked out a RAV4 yesterday. That was actually 10 minutes away, so it was a lot better than the other one where it was like an hour drive away and like a whole different area of town that I wasn't quite used to. The one I looked at yesterday, much better condition, probably like under 60k, 60,000 kilometers. There's a lot of bonus extras, so brand new tires, like a 5-year warranty. There's a massive bull bar on it, so don't know. I'll leave it on for now, but I'm not sure if I'll keep that on. But yeah, it was just the stars aligned, the right criteria I was looking for, and in a decent price range. Took the plunge, decided to buy it earlier than I planned, but it is definitely motivation to hustle because I do not want to eat into my remaining money. That's pretty exciting. I will definitely get it by Friday. That's the day we've agreed on, but I might even get it sooner. Super excited to try that out at the markets this weekend. Yay! Morning! It is Wednesday the 8th. It's been a busy first week back into the swing of things. Monday, I got a text saying that the car I looked at on Sunday, that it was ready for me to pick up already. That process was quite a lot faster than I expected. Picked it up on Monday, cleaned out my old car on Tuesday, trying to, you know, go through the process of selling my old car, which is all new to me. So that's exciting that I've got the new car for the first markets of 2025. So that'll be really cool to see how much easier it is, that sort of thing. So I've been trying to, because there's so many colours or so many new fabrics I wanted to add for more of a summer collection, because I'm trying to do like seasonal prints like summer, spring, that sort of thing, but also ones that people wouldn't mind their pet wearing for the whole year. I've been trying to make sure I've got 1 of each size or 2 of each size ready for this weekend, and then that will help give me an indication of how popular some prints might be. I've sewn a whole bunch and I'm just up to adding my labels. I'll take some photos of the new prints. So things like this fried egg one. So the fried egg one I think is really fun. And then I took a chance on this sort of farm aesthetic. So there's a pig version. I think the pig one is pretty cute because you can see the animals quite well. The chicken one is a little trickier to see. You can't really tell it's chickens. You can still see the flowers, you can still see that it could be like a grass background, like a meadow background. We'll see how they go. And then some other prints I've got in the other people's stuff I make, or even the bandanas, I've got them in. But I didn't even think of having them for collars, so I just added those as well. So like this neon flowers one is super fun, so that'll be good to have it in collars as well. And also this sushi one, I wasn't sure how it would turn out in such a skinny collar. So that's a cat collar, that's as thin as I would make them. I just need to add the ring and the bell for those. But I pretty much had to make a whole new selection of cat collars because all the ones I did make were all Christmas. So I've got those ready for this weekend. So I'm just trying to make enough to get through this weekend and then next week I'll be able to smash out a few more batches. So I'm slowly trying to chip away at how much I need for those pet shows, and then I just got the acceptance email from Monbulk, so I'll get to move in 1st of February. I think it's a Saturday or a Friday, so that is pretty good as well, not too random in the week. And yeah, so I've pulled out of the other collective shop I'm in, so I can basically take a whole bunch of stuff I've got there and put it in the new one. The only thing I need to sort of work out by February now is like a custom stand. I don't have to make a custom stand, but for me and how I want to display my things, I feel like it's a waste of space to just buy ready-made shelves or whatever. So I'm hoping to make some custom stands to sort of maximize on the space to show the collars. I think collars on one side, bandanas on one side, and just have the pet stuff and see how that goes for a month or two. Things are rolling. It feels like January is going way faster than I was ready for. I still need to work out an easier way to make my carry pouches. If not, if I don't have time for that, I'll just make the custom order so it's ready for this weekend, and I'll push that sort of pattern playing around time for next week. The weather was looking good for this weekend, but I just checked yesterday and now it's like raining again on Sunday. There'll be two out of 2 times trying St Kilda Market where the weather's terrible, but you know, it's Melbourne. I'm wearing like a fleece jumper right now, but it's meant to be 29 degrees later, and it was 37 degrees like 2 days ago. The weather might change, or it might not even be as bad as it says it will be. So basically the rest of the week I'll be trying to sort of chip away at sewing as much as I can, because it does get tedious. I've been trying to block like how much I need to focus for, so I might, if I'm really tired, if I've like run some errands the whole day and I need to like conserve some energy, because we've started doing the couch to 5k, my friends and I. We tried last year, kind of dropped off, so I'm starting fresh this year. Instead of having to concentrate on sewing straight lines, I just did ironing for a couple hours. Instead of taking a nap, that's what I did. That worked out pretty well, and then I felt a bit more energized after the run. And then I'll do like 2 or 3 hours of sewing each day, just so it doesn't feel too tedious, or like I might get a sore neck or sore shoulders. Just trying to chip away at things and not feeling too overwhelmed by like how much I need to make now. Okay, so I finished adding the labels for these small collars. I was just gonna put it out there, if anyone's got a Juki industrial machine, particularly ones that do the automatic bar tacking and the automatic thread cutting, do you have this problem? So it still saves me a lot of time because I don't have like massive strings of thread, and it will usually just show just on one side. But I don't know if I've got like the settings not quite right, but I still get like bits of thread sticking out, and then when I do start sewing, this long tail will get sort of sewn with the stitches, or like gets caught under the stitching. If this is normal, I'll deal with it, but if you've got a Juki and it's not, doesn't happen for you, please let me know. I've tried to look at the manual, but yeah, I'm just not sure. I'll show you. So when I finish a project, about that much thread is left over. Maybe like there's too much left over, and that could be in the settings or something. But yeah, if there's any tips, that would be super helpful. Alright, so this is what we're working with. I've got space for extra small dog collars, but I haven't had time to make any. And then I've got small that I just made last night and this morning, medium. So one stand can fit almost every colour, but I did make 2 stands so I can fit one of every colour for the large. I think that'll be a next week's job, so they'll be kind of squished up for this weekend. And then I've got cut collars down here so you don't have to strain your shoulders trying to reach. And then I've got a rod for treat bags, still need to work on those. And then 2 rods for leashes. Okay, so this is what we're working with. I thought I'd use the D-ring to hang it, but I think I need to work out some way to sort of make it sort of packaged and nice looking. So I'm pretty happy with that. Part of me does want to just check what colours I don't have in the other sizes, like particularly the fairy bread one that's pretty popular. But I mean, that means I have to pull out the fabric, fold it, cut it, put it back. So I think just for this weekend I've got still a decent range for people to choose from, and then if they really want a print, then maybe they can do like a online order. I'm going to try to avoid getting hung up on that and move on to the next thing. So I think I could make, there's some new prints I've got that I don't have in the collars, so the bandanas. I could make those, but I think what I really do need to do is actually make some leads. So I've got one that's fully done. I've got this sunflower one that I still need to, I've added a clip of where I'm putting the tabs. So the tabs are a bit finicky, so that's why I've been procrastinating on that. But if I can get at least 5 so it's not looking so empty, I think that would be super nice. And then I can move on to the pouches. Pouches, they've been sort of ready to make for ages. It's just one of those things that I've been putting off. I'll definitely make that fairy bread one for custom order. And then I do need to remind myself I need to set aside some time this week just to make my life easier and future me thankful, is to spend some time adding on labels and barcodes. So I've got the Shopify website. I may as well use it for like data collection. If I've got the barcodes and I put it through in the correct sort of item. So I use a little scanner that I just got from Amazon for like, I want to say 50, but I probably spent like $80. But a little Bluetooth scanner to scan the barcode. It will zap it up quicker on the app, and then future me will know what was popular and then what I can be certain making more of for the pet shows, that sort of thing. The only thing is it's tedious sort of work to put the right sizing or right color codes on the collars, but it is worth it. So that's probably a Thursday Friday task. All right, check-in time. It is
hello, January 8th, Wednesday. I will do my very best to assist you in any way I can. Let's do our best.
8:42. So
thank you for your hard work.
It's a good way to check the time. So 8:42, I got up at like 6:30 and started sewing from yesterday's stuff. So I've been on and off kind of sewing all day and ironing, but I'm up to season 2 of The Good Place, so not too bad. Something I'm trying to do is to try to finish up stuff the day that I'm making it, so I don't have too many unfinished things or like half-finished things that still need labels or are half done. Managed to do 1, 2, 3. Today I did 4.5. This beach one I've had sort of, so I had this beach one that was kind of mostly finished for a while, but I managed to just put a label on actually. That's all I had to do for that one. That was sort of laying around for 2 weeks, not finished. Finally did that one today. Added about 4 more double leads to what I can bring on the weekend. So I've got the neon flowers one, which is cute. The double ones, I'm hoping people take to them, because personally I use a double one that I bought from another sort of small business when we first got Maisie, so a few months into Maisie. So you've got one end with the loop closer to the end of that lead, or that where the clip is, which is on this end. So that one you can make into a handle, and then the rest of it can be a long lead to clip onto your dog. If that's too long, you can always clip this side to this clip that's further down. You can make it into a longer handle, and then the rest will be a little bit more normal length, so pretty adjustable. I tend to have it around here, just around my body, so that is good. So if that side was too tight, I'll just use the other end, and then it's further out from my body, and then the rest can clip onto your dog. That was the right way. This is the right way. For a second I was thinking, what the heck, my measurements are way off and this is not going to fit a lot of people. But I've got it on the right way now. Double leads are fun, easy to clip around if you want to just clip them around a tree trunk or a pole, and I've got a long lead to have a bit of freedom. That works too. And then I've had the measurements floating in my head for ages, but I finally wrote it out and made some sort of regular length lead. So nothing fancy, one single clip, handle, just a D-ring, just a little D-ring to clip on a poop bag, or you can get those poop bag holders, so that works too. Just one clip, pretty sturdy. I've got the sort of box, not sure if you can see it, box, X-box. So those will be fun. The only thing I have to think about for these now is signage. So like a sign, little A4 sign to hang at the market, and then just some way to display them. I was thinking I had like little ties. I think I can tie a little loop there and hang it onto a hook like so. I think that'd be nice. But if I can't find those ties, I'll just tie some twine into a little loop because I don't have time to get stuff at this stage. But since those were quite quick to make, I managed to do more of those. So I did 7 total, including the soccer one. Pretty good, especially since I wasn't even expecting to sew these at all, this week at least. So those are done. I need to take some photos of those to upload to my Shopify website. I did plan to do some admin stuff today and just never felt like sitting down on a laptop. So that will be tomorrow's job. Worst case scenario, Friday's job. Something I did forget about. January is a bit of an odd month, for markets at least. So Chinese New Year is at the end of this month. Although I'm not doing any markets or stalls at actual Chinese New Year festivals because I looked into the pricing, way out of my budget. But it would be nice, and I had that request for some red and gold sort of fabric. I had a hard time sort of finding things, so this is mostly what I could find that wasn't like excessively expensive. The other materials I found were just a little, probably like double the price of the fabric I use for bandanas and collars, or any of my fabrics really. And unless I charge like a lot more for Chinese New Year fabric bandanas, I just didn't think it was a good idea. So I'll just test the waters with these ones, see how they do. This one's a more dark red in person, but on camera I guess it looks a bit more Chinese New Year-ish. Collar stand is looking pretty swish now. Found the time to add some bells to the cat collars I had before. I did sort of change the bells I was using. These are a lot bigger and I think they've got a more satisfying sort of jingle sound. And they're silver. I was using gold bells before. It was sort of clashing with the silver D-ring. So I think overall they look a lot more professional, a bit more legit. Alright, so I've got Thursday and Friday. I am a little stressed now that the market's sort of looming closer now, only because there's a few errands I want to do tomorrow, so that's going to take up half my day at least. And then my friends and I will do the couch to 5k at 1,000 steps in Ferntree Gully, so it'll be nice just trying to account for that time. As much as I don't want to do admin work or do sort of boring laptop work, I'm gonna set myself maybe like 45 minutes to 60 minutes over tasks I need to do on the laptop. So I think I've already made a Class Bento account, but I need to double check that and send the details to Yaz's admin friend Sabrina. So that's also happening next week already, which didn't realize it was so soon. I need to make a listing for whatever collars or bandanas that don't have listings yet. generate barcodes for those, use my spreadsheet to copy over the SKU numbers or SKU codes over to Shopify. That takes a little bit longer than, it's faster now that I've found like the edit everything page. Before it was super tedious. I also need to make some updated pricing posters. I was sort of charging the same price for all sizes because I think Yaz made a point where you don't pay more for a t-shirt if you're a bigger size. So I was going with that logic. However, there's a big discrepancy between the large collars and the extra small collars or the cat collars. So I just don't feel right charging the same price for those, so I'm just gonna adjust the prices. There's some acknowledgement of that as well. I'm just gonna set myself a timer, be in an air-conditioned space. Whatever I get done in that time, they'll just have to do for today. And then at least that's a head start on tomorrow, so we'll see how we go. It's Saturday the 11th of January. Just finished Tidy Market, first market back for the year. So I had about a 3-week break. So I think it was a good amount of time. I spent a week sort of redoing my sewing area. I got to redo my stands, all my displays, so they were looking a lot better at the market today. And like the last few days I was sort of doing last minute things that I kept putting off until I was going to go back to the market. So yesterday I was kind of like frantic and sort of wishing I got some more things done, like made more like extra small collars. I didn't even make any for small dogs, but I don't think anyone was really looking for that, so that worked out. I got most of the way done with making bandanas in some new prints I've got, but didn't get quite enough time to finish sort of turning them out or doing like the finishing seams and labels. There's a few little things, and I was up to like 10:30 just putting on like labels and new barcodes and printing off signs. For what I did manage to do, I think I was still happy with like how much I managed to do. I did like a whole new collection of dog collars. A lot of the ones I had before the break were probably about half were Christmas themed, so without all the Christmas colors, and I wanted to do all the other prints that I do have in bandanas. So that's pretty much what I spent my break doing, and I did manage to finish. This is the one I stuffed up yesterday, so there's a whole nother one that I made, but I made the custom order of a sort of carry-all pouch with the waterproof lining. I did forget how to make them after so long, so this one's a mistake that I'll just keep for myself, just because the seams are meant to go across, not up. When I can be bothered and finish this off, it's a pretty good sized bag for just toiletries. We're going to New Zealand for a snow trip in July, I think, so I could use it then. Maybe take some real life photos of it being used, so that's good. And I also scrambled yesterday and cut up some of my sort of like red and gold fabric for bandanas. This one I had limited amount of, so I only cut some in like a small size and left the rest that could be like a custom order for whatever size that person wants. And then this one I had heaps of. I just made a bunch or a couple of each size just in the bandanas, not colours. That could be a future thing though. Didn't sell any at Heidi Market, but we'll see at the other markets in the next couple weekends. Compared to the December market for Heidi particularly, that was my best market for the Christmas markets. I was sort of bracing myself for a drop in probably traffic and sales for January, so it was pretty much what I was expecting. I was sort of trying to aim for like a baseline of 200 to 300 just to cover the cost of the stall fee and the effort of going there and everything. Luckily I did have really enthusiastic customer who came by and she bought probably like, I want to say like 6 to 8, maybe even 10 items, probably 8, but like 3 different dogs. I was already probably about $280 at that point, about 1 o'clock, and then she came along and dropped like 230, so that really you know, made a difference in my sales for that day. So that was really encouraging. So if it wasn't for her, it would have been like just get by kind of day. That was really good to have. Tomorrow is St Kilda, so it's currently 6:33 p.m. St Kilda market, it's a weird situation tomorrow, so the market doesn't start till 10 a.m, but then in the last sort of bump in email, so all the information you get for your upcoming market, they mentioned there's a triathlon in the area that's blocking off the roads as well. They're actually gonna close the car park at 7 a.m, so I don't particularly want to trek over a long distance with my staff, just because the trolley I've got is kind of not very straight. So I might just get there at 6:45 just so I can park my car at a reasonable distance. Worst case scenario, I've got like an hour or two to probably just work on some scrunchies. So I'll just sew up a whole bunch of stuff that I can work on away from the sewing machine, and then it's not really time wasted, it's just an unfortunately early start. Worst case scenario, it is along the beach. Thinking I'm going to take Maisie with me instead of coming later with James, I can just take her for a walk along the beach. Worst case scenario. For 2025, trying to do markets as like a viable part-time gig. I think I had about, let's see, I had 13 orders all up, and you can see sort of peaked around, I want to say like 10:30, 11-ish, and then dropped off. I don't think we got any sales after like 2 o'clock-ish. So we did end up packing up early today as well, and because of the heat. So my options for making stuff to work on at the market are just bandanas in lots of new print as well, but just to prepare. These are old Christmas ones I need to move away, but yeah, I do want to make at least like 5 of each colour of each size to get ready for the pet shows, I think in Feb or March. So I could work on those or sew a bunch of those. There's a bunch of bow ties I haven't touched yet. I definitely want to make some velvet scrunchies. I've only got maybe like 3 that I could find that were finished. So, and I haven't even got any made in these colours, so I can do that. And I'm also thinking I definitely don't have any collars in the fairy bread print, but I don't even have any scrunchies. I've got maybe 1 scrunchie left in this gingham that's pretty popular as well. So I'll just see what I feel like, and hopefully I've got a good chunk of stuff that I can just chip away at the market in between sales, hopefully. Worst case scenario, putting the clips to fold over the fabric on the leads take forever. I could also bring some of those to work on. Maybe that's what I should do. I think fairy bread would be good for a lead sort of colour. That's the other thing thing as well. I made like a bunch of leads. It was probably about 10 in total, so it looked a little sparse but not overly sparse. Didn't sell any today, so I don't know if people just weren't in the mood to buy leads. They also didn't buy collars as much as I thought, so scrunchies were more popular today. So it could be like the summer sort of theme. So cat collars and scrunchies were popular today, so we'll see if I sell any leads tomorrow. But yeah, I think making some in some different fabrics would also be a good idea for leads. Alright, bit of real talk. Yesterday started off well. Very different crowd to the other markets. So it was kind of fun, like interesting to meet lots of different people, lots of interesting characters. People felt a bit more warm, a bit more wanting to support small businesses, that sort of thing. So it was nice to be at St Kilda Market. The weather forecast was rainy all day. I knew that going in. However, like going hour by hour, it was meant to be, I think, like 2 millimeters 11 a.m, 4 millimeters 12 p.m. When the flash flooding hit, that just took us all by surprise. Particularly at the time, it was just like, it's fine, it's just fabric, things can dry, that's all good. But I've been pretty gutted all day because after like looking more closely at my bandanas that were on the stands, there was actually a gap in between my tent and my neighbor. So it was already too late to get it out of the rain. So I was just it was literally just dripping wet because the rain came on so hard. And there was actually like news stories about like hundreds, maybe 150 SES calls and like flash flooding in certain areas. Like a Yaris was like probably that high up to the top of the Yaris in rain or flood waters actually. So like definitely could have been worse. Okay, that's more comfortable. Definitely could have been worse. Like we weren't drowning in the rain or anything. It was just that one side of my display stands was exposed and therefore they got wet. Maisie, like I was more concerned about Maisie she was like shaking and shivering because she was so scared of the thunder. That was the main concern. And then we had some like customers trying to take shelter in the rain. I think they had like a toddler in their pram as well. So it was more later where I realized that probably a third to half of my bandanas might be destroyed. I had those craft labels and I was using a self-inking stamp to just put on my logo. Come to realize after all the rain and it being sort of sitting in that dampness and being like smushed together like files, that ink has transferred onto a lot of bandanas. So I tried the alcohol trick that I looked up with ink. That did bugger all. I just found some pre-washed stain remover that I had in the laundry and just rubbed it on every part that had ink stains. So it should be done in the wash by now. But yeah, I'm sort of tossing up what to do with like sort of damaged bandanas. Some of them are on the back side, so I might be able to sell them at like a discounted rate, like a discounted sale sort of thing. But the ones where it's on the front or it's really prominent, yeah, I've just been sort of moping around all day thinking, can I cut it up into scraps to salvage the good parts, the good parts of the fabric and reuse it into something else? But then that's like a lot of time and effort, and there's like a whole bunch of things that I want to make already. There's that, or I was thinking perhaps I could just donate them to like a local dog shelter, but you know, I don't know if like the ink stains are really prominent. I don't know if that's a good thing to donate either. So yeah, pretty upset about that. Because if it was just sort of wet stuff, it was fine. But the fact that like I've spent so many hours making those items, all the swing tags are ruined because they're sopping wet. So like the barcode stickers that I've gone to the effort of printing out and putting onto the right thing, like the logo's all smudged. So I'm gonna have to redo those. When things are good, I'm saying to myself, you know, it's all coming up Millhouse. Today, it is not all coming up Millhouse. So what would you do in this situation? Should I cut it up and try to reuse the bits? Should I just donate it? Would people even want bandanas, doggy bandanas with like perhaps like a backwards back to front logo on it? I'll check on it. I'll take it out of the wash and check how bad it is, if it even did anything. If it worked, thank God. And then it's just the labels that I can redo, and I'm just gonna say like stuff it, I'll just get them printed, because the ones that I printed off my printer, like the mini labels I've got, they didn't leak, like the ink didn't leak. That seems to work well if they get wet. So it's definitely the stamp situation, that sort of fresh ink that just dripped out, and I could see like black sort of dripping, not like tear stains pretty much of black ink and just dripping onto the fabric. So not the greatest situation for particularly first weekend back. So it was definitely the crazy both sides of Melbourne weather. So super stinking hot on Saturday, and now flash flooding, apparently a month's worth of rain in one day on the Sunday. We'll see how bad the situation is, and then I think we'll just have to reassess, try not to get too down in the dumps about it, because then there's nothing I can do other than just kind of mentally to like get it off my chest, as put it off as a write-off, and then just keep moving forward, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I need to focus on, and this has kind of been just a hiccup in all of that. I'll add in a clip. If it worked out, great. If not, let me know what you do.